This has been happening since 2020, actually.
Really?
And I don't
Okay, cool.
did you meet Jackson yet? He's actually the
I've not.
founder. He co-founded this with the world-renowned relationship therapist, Doctors Helen LaKelly Hunt and Harville Hendricks, that I think I told you about. So they actually hired him to get their work out of the clinic and into the real world, and literally hired him to figure out how to do that. And he just said he's going to teach Gen Z for free, because if you teach everybody the skills younger, then they're going to have them the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And while this was rooted in like couples in crisis therapy, he was also like, well, this skill applies to any relationship, whether it's like a family member, friend, coworker, followers online. So he kind of branded it like that, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's really, really cool. Like if you start teaching them young, then they don't have those relationship problems later on.
Exactly.
They already know how to do it.
Exactly, right? And then it's not like, basically what happened was he was a couple in crisis, and he saw these therapists on Oprah, and he called them and he was like, hey, I want to go to your couples retreat, like with his wife at the time. And when they went, he said like there was too much water under the bridge already in their relationship. But when he went to the couples retreat, he was like, what the heck? Like, we didn't learn any of this stuff when we were like, how am I supposed, like, I don't know any of this, but it's such basic skills that why didn't anyone teach us this before we became a couple in crisis? And they literally were like, well, you don't need it until you're, like, it's an industry, right? You don't really need to know it until you're in crisis. But fast forward 10 years go by, and they're getting older, and they're, much older now. And they were like, okay, actually, we do want to teach younger people, and we do want to make it preventative. And so that's why he had to push in and beat out a bunch of people to get the job, a bunch of other CEOs. But the story that I just told you, he told them, and they were like, oh my gosh, like, we have to hire you to do this. So yeah, he teamed up with songwriters. They made dialogue songs. They went on a tour. Yeah, they had a group called the Anthemics. It was like so cool. And it was like all Gen Z, like young people, because his background is he was a dancer and choreographer for Vanilla Ice. So he's like been super successful in the music industry and in technology and entertainment his whole life. And so he's my business partner, and he taught me these skills, and now it's kind of my responsibility to also pass it down. And that's why I started the podcast. But this has been my first, like with Xannie, when we first started doing this like 3 months ago or whatever, this has been my first time like teaching it by myself. Usually he's teaching it and I'm just like there to demonstrate. So Xannie and I teamed up because I was diagnosed with BPD in 2022. And then I saw her podcast and everything like that. I don't know if you know, she has a podcast called the BPD Bunch, where like
I do. I haven't had a chance to listen yet, but I know that I've seen that on her page.
Yeah, so she's like a psych major background and always been into like healing and learning different mythologies, kind of like you, to like get through her own things. And then but where you actually want to coach women, she more just wants to like turn it into like edutainment. So she's more of like a content creator, and that's what she does. So I saw her podcast and I was like, oh, that's so cool. You're getting a bunch of different people with BPD together to like talk about how to heal or talk about what they're doing to overcome it. And so I had her as a guest on my podcast. She had me as a guest on hers. And then from there, she started coming to our weekly dialogue sessions last year. And she liked it so much that she was like, hey, we should teach this to my audience too, because I feel like they could really use it. And I was like, yeah, this is like what healed me from BPD is like dialogue. So, it was like kind of a cool full circle moment to get to teach people in her network. And like, like one or two, but there was like more people, and it was like specifically a BPD group, and it was like so cool to have. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's awesome that you used it to, I mean, I can relate to that as like using dialogue. Like I wouldn't have called it dialogue, but communication to heal like people pleasing and self-abandonment, because it's very much like similar in that line of like how it affects us is the you communicate with other people.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. So, well, let's see. Yeah, and I know that you work in that people pleasing, which, by the way, I think my mom is watching your podcast right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like, who should I watch? And she's like, oh, maybe I should watch Cait Starling. I was like, yeah, you should. She's like a big fan.
Oh, that's funny.
She rewatches the
Oh,
episodes 1,000 times a day.
oh,
Like,
I
you're
love that.
improving my channel views are going up, Mom. No, she's fine. Let's see if I can share this this worksheet, or if it kind of takes us off the screen. Oh, you can't see me anymore now, can you?
I can see you.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, okay.
I think you just can't see you.
Okay, no, I see what's going on here. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Can you still see the whole worksheet?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Okay, just let me know when we need to move down. So, okay, so I'll then send you a frustration dialogue. And in a frustration dialogue, when to use it, you when you're giving a frustration dialogue, it's when you want to talk about a frustrating experience and be mirrored for accuracy, or when you're upset about something and you want to feel safe and heard, opposed to, like, I don't know, re-triggered by just somebody not listening to you. Or you want to, like, bring up a topic that might be, like, touchy or challenging. And so the first thing you do is make an appointment. And so you say, I would like to, so I'll say to Cait, I would like to talk about, or I would like to dialogue about a frustration I'm experiencing. Is now a good time, Cait? And then Cait would say yes or no. And we would go from there. And if you say no, Cait, then you would have to say, actually, no, it's not a good time, but we can reschedule for later today at like 2 p.m. That's when I'm available. So you have to schedule a time you're available for a dialogue. You can't just say no, but you can say yes or no, but this time works. So in this case, I guess now would be a good time. So I'll ask. And the other thing is, with a frustration, how many times do you talk to somebody about something, but you say like, hey, we need to talk, or like you just have this like tone that's like scary or off-putting, and the other person immediately has anxiety of like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? And like this has even happened to me with like my editor, when I'm just gonna give him notes, but I'm gonna say, oh my God, I love what you did. Like sometimes I'm like, hey, call me. And then he gets on the phone and he's like, oh God, what did I do wrong? And I'm like, no, I was I love this cut, you know? So you want to say like what the conversation is about to reduce the other person's anxiety. So, so Cait, is now a good time to dialogue with you about some things I'm experiencing with my family as it pertains to content creation?
Yeah, right now is a good time.
Okay, cool. So we're going to connect and look each other in the eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Okay, here we go. So, Cait, the frustration I'm experiencing in my life is that I have been making content about, like vlog content about my mom going through her dementia journey, and the way that it's affecting my sisters and I, and the choices we're having to make. And it's been interesting putting my family on camera, because they're very uncomfortable with not being in control of their own narrative.
Mm.
And then Cait, you would say, so let me see if I got that. And you would try to mirror back what I just said. And I'm going to let Xannie in the studio because she's here now. But Xannie, hey, you can join in. And Xannie, since you're here.
Oh, there we go. I didn't think you were ever going to let me in. So
I didn't even know you were waiting. I'm so sorry. I just saw it. We're trying a new format today where we're like live and direct from Is There More World on YouTube. So welcome to the party. And we have 2 people watching, so they're really eager to see this dialogue. So we're getting into it.
Okay.
So Cait, do you want me to repeat what I said? Because I know it's kind of hard when or do you have it?
I got it. Actually, that's, the space my ADHD needs. So,
nice.
So let me see if I got it. Your frustration right now is around your family, and how your vlogs about your mom are kind of impacting your sisters and the relationship that you have with them. Did I get that right?
Yes. And specifically, there's been questions about, whether my mom knows or remembers this is being published, or I posted one with my dad in it, or she said something about my dad and he was so mad he made me take it down because he doesn't want to be affiliated with her. They've been divorced for many, many, many years.
Okay.
Do you want to try to mirror that?
Okay. Yeah. So let me see if I got that right. So with the vlog specifically, you've had a few surrounding your dad, right? That he doesn't want to be affiliated with the conversation surrounding your mom because they've been divorced for a long time. I can imagine that that's really hard.
Wait, you don't go into I can imagine.
I know.
Just me. Well, that is a sentence though, so that's good. But so guys, at this point, Cait is just literally trying to repeat back everything I said word for word to just make sure she's really listening, because it's hard to listen and you don't realize how hard it is until you do it. Xannie, I know you kind of have a story about that. Do you want to give your perspective on how difficult or what you think about mirroring?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just, we often think of ourselves as good listeners, and I always thought I was a good listener because I could remember a lot more details than I think I perceived other people did. But I think when I actually had to mirror people, I realized, oh, there are actually holes in what I'm remembering. I'm not actually remembering everything the way I think I'm remembering everything. When you're put on the spot to have to mirror, I don't know how everyone else thinks, but I don't always think just in words. I have sort of this jumbled vibes way of thinking. And so because of that, I just thought oh, I have the vibe, right? I've got it. And then, if somebody says 3 things, maybe I remember 1 and 3, but I don't really remember 2. And then when I have to mirror, I'm like, oh, wait, what was 2? How did we get from 1 to 3? I don't actually remember.
Well, in that case, you can always ask for a resend because you want to be as accurate as possible. And yeah, it's very hard to remember. So you never have to feel like you have to be perfect at it, but you can always feel like, okay, yeah, I actually don't remember 2. So can you actually resend? And a lot of times what we realize too is that the person sending it doesn't even remember it. So it forces us to really tap in and be present with what we're saying. Because also a lot of times we just be talking, right? I know I can ramble a lot. I can go on tangents and it's just not necessary, to be honest. So this kind of helps everything slow down and we're only saying what really matters. So yeah. So, okay, back to our worksheet.
I jumped to validation.
Yeah, that's what happened.
hard for me because it's a different framework, right?
Yeah, you're
Than coaching.
Yep.
I'm not coaching you right now.
Nope, just mirroring.
Okay, just mirroring. So let me see if I got it. Your frustration surrounding your blog specifically has come up when your dad has been upset about specific blogs that he's been mentioned in, and yeah, can you resend the impact that is having on you?
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically frustrating for me because, for example, like he made me take down, like I didn't think it was a big deal, because I'm just telling the truth of the story, and the way he sees it, it looks bad on him. So he told me he feels, kind of like offended, and I need to take down the video. And it was, of course, one of the big videos that did really well. And I guess my main frustration is that I don't feel supported by my family. I never did. I do feel supported by my mom. She's very down for what I'm doing. She's always been a cheerleader of me. She also worked behind the camera, so she loves the camera, But my sisters and my dad and others in our surrounding, circle are very anti like social media and camera. And I went into like modeling and then acting and then filming 18 years old. So like I've always felt unsupported, like anti-supported, like anything that I do is wrong and I just want attention, or what if it goes bad, or you're whatever, just all these different things. And essentially, like when I was 18, I literally split off from my identity and created a new name and a new character to be, so I could go do this thing I wanted to do. And now that it's 12 years later, I'm looking at like having to reconnect to my, real identity, something that's like the wholeness of me. But it's very difficult because I'm still not accepted for who I am. And so it's bringing up a lot of like, I don't know, just like it sucks, And it doesn't suck as much as when I was 18, because like I'm way more, conscious now of like, well, that's just their opinion and it doesn't have to like affect what I do. But it is hard when somebody that close to you is like accusing you of whatever, or just generally not supportive. And it's like the main thing I keep thinking is the only people I care about and want to bring with me on my journey are the people who don't want to be there. And so it's just sad. I feel really sad, to be honest.
Yeah. So let me see if I got that. Your main frustrations are just feeling really unsupported by your family, and that's bringing up a lot of sadness and all those feelings that you've had all along the way since the time you were 18 and created kind of this new identity for you. And you really just want them to come along with you. But situations like with your siblings being upset about vlogs and with your dad being upset about vlogs, that's bringing on the frustration and sadness. Did I get that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right. Is there more?
No, that's really it, because that's the past that it reminds me of, and you got all of that. But I'll just add that like, no matter how much validation I get from the outside world, for example, like I got reached out to by something called like the caregiver awards, because they were so into like the videos I was making, and they thought it was kind of groundbreaking that I was publishing things that were like real-time decisions. And I also got reached out to by PBS to do our story on their upcoming dementia documentary. And this is big deals, right? So no matter how much outside validation I'm getting, and I'm also sharing with them, it doesn't matter to them because they still have their own opinion or, you know, sense of control over what they want to be the truth. And the main thing is like, I just feel like it's always been difficult for me to keep moving forward because of the lack of support from the people around me. So that's the more to it.
Yeah. Okay. So right here, do you want me to mirror you back, or can I move into validation?
So now you have to do what's called a summary mirror. So now you basically,
Okay,
it doesn't have to be very lengthy, but you kind of beat out like, okay, so let me see if I got all that in summary, and then just give a summary of everything that you heard.
Okay. So let me see if I got all of that in summary. You've been feeling very frustrated and sad because you have spent all of this time working towards creating this new identity for yourself, and your family is really just not wanting to come along for the ride, but you really just want to bring them with you. And so your sisters and your dad are kind of pushing against that vision that you've had. And now with the exciting news of like PBS and different stations reaching out to you, it's frustrating that they wouldn't want to join you in that. Did I get all of that right? Was that about a good summary?
Yeah, that was a great summary.
Okay.
Okay, so now it's the validation.
All right.
So we go into you make sense.
Okay.
Here's the framework if you need it.
Yeah, I know how to validate. Just your format's a little different than my. Okay.
Yeah, take your time. It's kind of, you can.
Oh, sorry.
Or I can.
I was reading the wrong spot.
So like.
Okay. No, like you make sense. You make a lot of sense with the frustrations that you're feeling, experiencing the sadness that you feel, because the things that are happening for you are really exciting, and I can see the passion that you have, and then the identity shift that you had in like becoming an adult, and like all the building that you've done to create this new thing for yourself. It would be very frustrating to just want to have your family come along with you. And I'm sure that's just full of love and wanting to support them. So I can see how frustrating that would be and how much sadness that must bring up for you. Let's see.
And I forgot to make a wish, so we got to make.
Oh, we didn't do the wish.
Yeah, because
what
you
is
have
your
to
wish?
put it all together. Okay, what's my wish? Okay, okay, so like in a dialogue, you have to wish for something of the person you're dialoguing with. So I would have to make a wish for Cait or Cait and Xannie in this case.
Okay.
And it's not a wish for me. It's not like, oh, I wish I could just get over it. That's not a valid wish. The wish has to be something that they can do for you to improve your relationship with them and have a closer connection. So, okay, so my wish, Cait, would be, you know, you guys, Cait and Xannie, you've always been supportive of me, and I really appreciate that. And even you guys just being the strong, independent women that you are, following your own path, has encouraged me to stay on mine and do even more in the kind of like the content and the healing space. And I know, Cait, I haven't known you as long as Xannie, but you're kind of similar in ways where you do inspire me to like keep going on my own journey. So my wish would be to just keep being you and sharing, like literally go hard at being you. And I'll obviously be watching because that's what I do for inspiration. And then I guess sharing with me any other, you know, women who are on a similar thing, who you're like, oh, this woman is cool and inspiring to me, you know, to you guys, you could share them with me. And then just like, I don't know, being supportive. Like I'm looking for people in my life right now who are supportive so that I can have a foundation of the right things and not the unsupportive things. And if that's not my real family, I want a chosen family. And so I'm not saying you need to be my chosen family, but if you're open to being supportive, maybe you will be part of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my wish for you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
I got a thumbs up.
That's a great wish. Yes. Okay. Now I'm like,
So
now I'm looking at the script because I know what I would say, but
yeah, so the validation is like the hardest part, because basically it would be like, well, Xannie, you kind of know it a little better. Do you want to try to give the validation, and then Cait can mimic that?
yeah.
Yeah, so you make sense. What makes sense is that when you experience this lack of support from your family, that you feel frustrated and lonely, which I don't know if I was here for the past childhood part.
Yeah, I said it reminds me of like when I was 18. I think you were. I just kind of skipped over the sentence then, but it reminds me of like the same thing was happening when I was like 18 years old.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And which makes you think of, when you struck out on your own when you were 18, because you didn't have any support from your family back then either. And it makes sense that as a result of your frustration that you would wish for us to be there to support you and send you more people who are inspiring to show you that, these kinds of connections exist, and to be your, potentially your chosen family.
Aww, period. I love that. That was a great validation, Xannie. Thank you.
That was good.
Just for the sake of practice, Cait, do you want to also try?
Yeah, I can try. Okay. So it makes sense that you would feel frustrated, sad, lonely, because of all of the things that are going on with your family, because of the lack of support that you're feeling from them on kind of monumental, exciting things, that also remind you of your past when you started out on your own, heading off on this journey, and now you're kind of there, and it's still not being supported. And your wish is that we could kind of be your chosen family and help you along your journey and support you and love on you, and just be those relationships in your life that you need. Yes.
Ask, is that a good validation?
Is that a good validation?
Yes, it is a great validation. Thank you, Cait. Wow. I'm glad I did this dialogue. Okay, wait. And you already did. Yeah. Imagine. Okay, so then the last part is, and basically you kind of just tie it all together. And I can imagine that if you had our support and, now you would feel this happy emotion. So you kind of just tie that into the validation.
Yeah, because I can imagine if you had your chosen family, people in supporting you, that those were the present relationships in your life that you would feel really loved and supported, and like you can keep going.
Yeah.
Is that is that accurate?
Yeah, that's great. And I think I would feel supported and loved and just like, I don't know, like calm and happy and like joyful, like in a state of joy that is hard to access if you're always being like, I don't know, unsupported. But when you are supported and when I am supported, I feel very much like at peace and in the present moment. So yeah, those are accurate feelings. And I would also just add like present and joyful.
Okay.
And then
do I summarize that part, or can I
no, it's really
move on to thanking you?
Yeah, now it's just thank you for sharing. Well, you can, like, sometimes it is a good practice to just kind of mirror anything, just like, okay, so you would just like to add that the other feelings you would feel would be joyful and present.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. So the other feelings you would feel are joyful and present. But I want to thank you for sharing that with me, and I would love to be a part of your support system.
Thanks for
Because
listening.
you deserve all the support and the love.
Oh, thank you for listening, Cait and Xannie.
High fives.
Then we give high fives because we have to do some form of contact to close it down.
For sharing.
Thanks for listening, guys. I didn't know that I needed to dialogue about that, but I did. So, and
It's a good one. Yeah.
I do really appreciate your, continued support, and even you guys showing up here and like being supportive of what we're trying to share with dialogue is also just a big testimony of like, yeah, you care. I appreciate that. So, thank you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
You are welcome.
Xannie, I think you're on mute.
Oh, I was just singing. I was just like, glad to be here.
We need you to sing on the podcast or on the live. We need you to sing on the live stream for sure. Okay, so since we have one dedicated listener right now inside I'm Cupcakes, I don't know your name, but you want to type in the chat what your reaction to that is, because this is the first time you're seeing a dialogue. And I'll just say, like, I feel like when you get like mirrored and validated and empathized with, I feel like I feel like just literally supported, and like everything that I need is like there, even if it's just for this conversation. Like, you don't need this support all day every day verbally, right. But when you have it like once a week, it feels like, okay, there are people in my corner, and usually we don't appreciate each other enough, or we don't really just sit down and look each other in the eyes and have conversations a lot. We don't ask for what we need a lot to share on that front. But I think it's a good way to have a structure to ask for what you need and know that it's going to be like heard, repeated, so you really know they're getting it. What do you think about that, actually, Cait, with your background?
It's interesting because I still struggle to ask for those conversations. I just asked someone for a conversation. We had to schedule when that's going to happen, but it's like I had the urge to be like, nope, it's fine. I don't need to talk about it. We're good. But to have the framework to talk to someone that's like, it's because these aren't conversations you have with everyone, right? There will be people that are not really serious, close friends, but this is more like close relationships where you can sit down and look at each other eye to eye, and like, it's important to have that framework to communicate with them, because otherwise things kind of get lost in the weeds, and you might miss something or they might miss something. So I think the framework for me eases the anxiety of it. It's like, oh, I know how to have these conversations with people now instead of just avoiding them. And not everyone's going to know how to communicate like that, but I do have friends that we have a similar structure to the way we converse. It may not be exactly this, but those are the friendships that are the strongest because we can talk about deep things with each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we can hold that space for each other. For me, I'd say healing is about being witnessed, and witnessing another person is the most important thing to me. So as a coach, I like to just be present with someone. Because with my therapist, that is the work that he's done, is just to be present most of the time. It's not that he always says profound things. It's that he can hold that space for me and just allow me to be, and then ask, is there more, essentially? And then, move into kind of healing those parts of myself that I've kept bottled up.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel the same way with the being witnessed and holding the space. Is like, most of the time, if we're frustrated or if we have something to talk about, I don't even want I don't want a solution. I don't really want anything. It's not even like a real problem. It's just like a momentary emotion or problem. And it's like when I am seen and witnessed, how you're saying, I feel like it's gone. Like now there's no problem. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of that's what I needed, was the witnessing. I totally resonate with that.
Yeah. Because otherwise we kind of create all these stories in our mind about like what's happening, and like especially if it's a frustration with another person in that relationship, like you're just going to keep creating the stories until you sit down and talk to them about it, and create that connection of witnessing each other and kind of resolving what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ooh,
Those
okay.
stories are tricky.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Stories are storying. I am the one who said that. Okay, so we got a comment from Naomi, is her name. So we got now. Okay, so she says, it's beautiful. I think I would worry that the person I'm dialoguing with would find me annoying or the whole thing silly. I am always thinking about the other person. Or I would feel incredibly demanding, reminding them of things they might have missed or gotten wrong when mirroring. Xannie or Cait, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel that for sure. And I see Xannie reaching for the button, but it's like, that's why I avoid conversations, is the fear of like rejection and people not perceiving me the way that I hope. But I think the important thing to do for yourself is to step to, even if the conversation doesn't go well, it's that action of like doing for yourself and like attempting to be seen. And maybe it's not about being right or wrong, but it's hopefully that's not the angle of the conversation.
Yeah.
And the people that are close to you aren't trying to be right or wrong. You're kind of, I call it's just your team is in your corner. So sorry, Xannie, I rambled.
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, I think this is sort of it depends a little bit on whether you're using something like this with somebody who knows it too. Like, I feel like things like this are always more awkward and cringy when you're like in a class setting where it's much more structured than it might end up in a real life situation. But part of that is like when you're learning something new, I think it is awkward because it's new. It's not how things have been, and that doesn't necessarily make it bad. But I mean, my first thought when I first was listening to Dialog was, oh my gosh, that's so slow. Why would anyone do that? And then when I was like, oh, I'm not actually remembering all the things I thought I was remembering, I was like, that's why you do that. Because, I think because it is very, labor intensive in terms of like time and emotional energy and attention, it's not something you're going to do all the time. Right. But there are moments that are really, really important to take that time to really make sure that the other person is being seen. And I think when you do it for those more like those bigger moments, then aspects of it just become part of your everyday life. Like even just in some of the conversations we had when we first met, like Megan was, mirroring back certain sections of what I was saying, not in any super formal way, but just, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but now knowing what I know about you, it seems like it was just what you were doing to make sure that we were on the same page. It wasn't like we're going through a whole formal exercise, right? So
yeah,
I think too, like I have never, outside of this, I'll be honest, I've never done like a full-on dialogue with someone outside of this setting. I have used the skill more like more indirectly. Like I was in a meeting and someone was really overwhelmed, and so I started mirroring them to try to slow down the conversation, because it seemed like no matter what anyone was saying, we were getting our wires crossed. And so just the act of mirroring sort of kept the situation from escalating, because the time it took to mirror, that in that time, the emotions were not continuing to spiral out of control. And so I think there's a lot of variation to this. But yeah, in terms of the part about, and I know I'm rambling a lot, but
no, you make sense, Xannie.
Worried about being annoying. It's like things are weird when they're new, and I think that's normal, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's in relationship with people that have not ever heard this kind of dialogue. It can be awkward, especially if we're unwilling to be like, hey, I'm learning this new thing, and I'm wondering if you could like sit down and learn it a little bit with me, or we can work on this, or prefacing a conversation with just, hey, I am experiencing this, could you just listen? And then we can kind of teach people along the way like what we need if we're willing to break through the awkward, like feeling like the coach, the teacher in relationship with people, because not everyone's going to know how to have conversations like this.
And what I'll say too is like, Xannie, like, I think what you're talking about is like, we call it like being dialogical. So it's just more conversational. And that's the whole goal of this, really, is to like take it into your everyday life. Not to say, oh, we have to sit down and do this eye to eye thing. Like, yes, it is very helpful, like if you're in the middle of conflict. But most of the times in our day-to-day life, like the thing that really helps is like one person stopping, and it's not going to be the other person because the other person doesn't know this, right? So it has to be you. So until you teach the people around you or bring them to dialogue over here, but if you kind of know these things, it has to be you, and you have to stop and say, okay, maybe this person is a bit triggered right now from, I don't know, something I said or something completely unrelated. So how can I disarm them and like kind of, and that's what mirroring is used for. So to make sure they feel seen and heard in whatever they're going through. And it's not like walking on eggshells or like changing your personality to like get them to like you. It's simply just like, hey, there's a common goal that you get something done, or you're just trying to like communicate your point or whatever, and they're not getting it. So therefore, like they need to be seen and heard to relax their defenses, because most of the times in our everyday life, unfortunately, even if we're not triggered by like an emotional thing, like we're usually in fight or flight mode because of like the pace of society, and because of social media, and because of the news, and because of caffeine, and because, just like everything puts our brain into this like hyper vigilant state, and we're conditioned like that as anyway. So taking the time to like really slow down and mirror what somebody said is going to make them feel good. So Naomi, I would even say like, take it upon yourself to do the mirroring, and you don't need to request somebody, hey, can you mirror? Cause like, they don't know what you're talking about. Of course, you should come join us actually. And you should, if you're interested, please put your email, or I think you can send me a DM on YouTube now. I think YouTube does DMs, which is really cool. But you can put your email and I can invite you. You can actually come take the class, and you can invite whoever you're, struggle with to come take it too. It's completely free, by the way. It's a free class. So it's one Sunday a month right now. And, but yeah, once you kind of learn this stuff, like I said, you have to take it upon yourself to do the mirroring, because the other person is going to be less educated than you probably in how to deal with conflict. So if you help them to feel seen and heard, then they're automatically going to be more open and available for what you have to say. So I'll give you an example, like in business. Okay, you said yes, please. So I don't know if you're comfortable putting your email in the chat. So maybe send me a DM, or if you don't have YouTube DMs, if you DM Is There More World on Instagram, I'll put it here. You can send me your email and I'll add you to the, actually, wait, no, I can just put the link in here and you can sign up right now. Give me one sec. I'll put the link in the chat and you can just put your email right in there so nobody can see it. One moment. Yeah. if you click on that and then just sign up, it's not like a sales funnel or anything. You'll just get like one email reminder, and then I'll add you to the calendar invite so you can come next time we do this. But what was I saying? I forget now.
Talking about mirroring and like, I feel like you're getting to like, if you show up that way, other people are more likely to start showing up that way.
Yeah.
I think like psychologically, that's like people want to mirror you. That's kind of a just in our system. Like if you continue to show up and supporting others. Sorry, it's getting busy here. It's about time. Yeah, people are going to be the people that are close to you that want to have close connection with you are going to kind of fall into line, if you will, like starting to mirror back.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what you were getting at.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Naomi also said I was going to give her an example, which I just remembered. So, for example, I work with a lot of men, right? And because in the business world, I don't know why, there's still a lot of men all the time. So, and they're usually much older than me and much more experienced than me. And, you know, I don't some girl who's like here. So is in meetings, because usually like, I don't know, if you think from their perspective, it's like they don't want to hear what like the assistant has to say or like the under person. They're just like, shut up and do your job, right? They're not really that mean. I'm kind of exaggerating, but it is just like a fact of like, I don't even feel sometimes like I have the right to speak up and take up space. So what I do is I make them feel seen and heard before I put in my opinion. So for example, like if somebody's saying, I think the coffee should be black today, right? I'm like, oh, okay, so let me see if I got that. You think the coffee should be black today. Did I get that? And they're like, yeah, you did. Oh, she's actually listening to me. Oh, that's different, right? So now they're relaxed enough for me to say, well, I think the coffee should have cream in it. You know, and, stupid example, but it's, you know, and so they're like, huh. And so again, not as like a manipulation, but just as a thing to say, hey, I'm listening to you. And they're like, oh, she's really listening to me. Hey, let me take into account her suggestion. So even like in a business setting, it really, really, really is useful. And yeah, especially business and creativity, because so much can get like, people can get in their egos in situations like that a lot. And so I found it very effective when collaborating with people on creative projects or in business settings. And I honestly, I don't use it enough in those settings. I really need to do it more. And so that's what I'm going to be working on actually from this month to next month, is using mirroring more in professional settings. Because I think it would save me more conflict, because I'm still experiencing like conflict, because I'm very like stubborn and like hard-headed, and I just kind of ram into people. I do. I'm like bad. I'm really bad. But so yeah, that's what I'm going to be practicing, is doing more mirroring before I speak on my opinion, because it's worked in the past. I need to remember to consistently do it. So that'll be my practice for the month.
Okay. Well, I will be hopping off here soon. I know my kids are going to come find me, but I just want to forewarn you. I don't have to leave yet, but they might come around the corner. I can stay on until they come find me if you want to say hi.
Yeah, that would be cute. Xannie, do you have anything you want to dialogue about? We can also end. I mean, it's been like an hour, but
I don't have anything specific that I can think of to bring. I wanted to be here to support. And
how was church?
Church was good.
Nice.
It took me so long to get here because I was I always go to breakfast with my parents afterwards, and they're talking to me about family planning.
What do you mean? Family planning?
Is that a wanted conversation?
No, yes, it was my idea.
Okay.
Not the type to. My parents are great. They've always actively avoid telling me what to do. So actually kind of frustrating sometimes, because I'm like, but I want to know what you think I should do. And they're like, no, but it's your life. You should do what you want to do. And I'm like,
wow.
but I want to be responsible. Can't you be my parents? And now that I'm like getting close to 40,
can we
responsible.
switch parents? Like my parents are like, I will control every decision you make. Wow.
Opposite. Yeah. But no, I was, I've been dealing with a lot of mental health challenges. So I'm finally feeling ready to move forwards with that stuff. So
nice.
Just trying to figure all of that out. And, I think despite, maybe ready is the wrong word, but I just feel like now is the time, if ever, because I don't have that many years left. I mean, it may already be too late. We don't know. So we'll find out. But
wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big
conversation to have.
At least we're talking about it. And my husband and I both have a lot of fears about it, but because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Whether it's best or not, or like we haven't put our bodies to the test in that way, so we have no idea. Like, I don't know if it's possible for me. So trying to be prepared for whatever happens.
Yeah, that's crazy because you've never tried. Can I say the P word or
what?
Like you never tried to get pregnant yet?
No, we never.
And so you're scared that you're scared of what? You're scared of, I guess, failure or what will happen if it's like non-desirable, which is totally valid and very scary.
There's just so many things that could happen, right? And you don't get any guarantees.
Yeah, or you would. Yeah, it is. It's scary.
Yeah, the hard part for us is just figuring out, like, do we have the skill set emotionally as human beings to handle whatever there is, right?
Yes, you do. I think you do. I know that's always been a thing for me too. I never want to have kids because that's part of it. But I think obviously from all the work you've done in your entire life on yourself and teaching other people that, you will apply all of it, and you already are applying it. So I don't know. I think you're what?
That's the hope anyway. That actually sounds like,
Yeah, no, your fear is totally valid. I definitely resonate with that. But at the same time, I'm like, how much preparation could you possibly do? Like, you've been preparing for this your whole life. Cait, do you have any advice? You're an actual mom, so I can't even speak to that.
So it's funny because I had kids before I did any of my healing work. So my kids have been a huge part of my healing. So I know Xannie, the mental health, the emotional, availability, whatever the emotional expanse that you feel like you need to have kids, it just shows up. If you're willing to be there, be present as a mom, for one, when you become a mom, you really don't know what that love feels like until you have it, until you hold that baby in your arms. It's just kind of another world thing. And I know different moms have different experiences, but that was mine. And you just don't know that kind of love until you hold a baby in your arms. It is really that unconditional love that we think that we want from other people, but that's the mother-child relationship or parent-child relationship. You can't prepare enough for it. I know that people are like, oh, I gotta have enough money, I gotta have enough mental health, I gotta have enough this, and there's a lot of validity in that. You do need to be prepared in some ways, but from someone that was completely unprepared but just wanted to be a mom, there's just a lot of healing that can be found in being a mom. And so if that is your journey, if it's not, I'm sure that if you just continue to go towards it, that you'll find what you need in it, and you'll find the more healing that you need through it. So yeah, it's exciting that you're talking about it and heading into it. But I can sense that I'm sure there's like some anxiety there and some excitement, anxiety, like all the feelings. Yeah.
I think
Was there more to it?
Oh, yeah. I think the thing that I'm the most afraid of is losing. That's actually a question I have for you is like, what was the journey like? Because I've had a lot of people, or moms. I haven't had a dad ever say this. Maybe dads have this too, but a lot of the moms that I've talked to have gone through this period of like having to rediscover who they are as a person because being a mom changed them so much, and I guess I'm afraid of that. Because I used to struggle with my sense of identity, I guess I'm afraid of what that is like. And so I'm just curious, what was that like for you?
So, again, my journey is very different. And we've talked about this a little bit, Megan. I think your mom's health aide, I believe, was listening and asking about this motherhood. And when I kind of surrendered into being a mom. But the thing for me was I didn't know anything else but caretaking. So it was very natural for me to just be like, oh, I have my thing now, and this is my safety net. So I hadn't really found myself at that point. But I can say that finding a support system, like finding other moms, finding the library classes, like doing things with other moms that are in the same season as you is really important. I didn't have that. And I wish I would have, because I did feel very isolated and lonely. But I didn't really lose anything. I was just in this season of loneliness. And then because when you're just with babies, it's kind of, they can't communicate with you the same way as another adult that can be there and support you and validate you and do all the things that we need, like we're learning here. They can't dialogue with you. You're just learning another language. But finding that support system, having your partner be there with you in it is really important, because a lot of dads, they don't lose that sense of identity because they're not. Unfortunately, in our society, a lot of dads kind of still live their own life. They don't take up that role. But I feel like there's a shift that's happening nowadays where men are stepping up more into their parent role and like really being there for their partner. But conversations with your partner would be really important, or your husband. And then, maintain your identity in the little moments. And that's just finding joy and being a mom in the little moments, and then finding a little bit of space for yourself to still take care of you. I could go on and on, but I won't hold you up with that.
Well, thank you. Well, it's also nice to know that has that like same, like, I don't know. A lot of the women I've talked to lately have had this very severe shift. So like, it's nice to know that like, that's not a guarantee either.
Yeah. I think grieving too is really important. Just grieving the life that you had when you were just you, because you lose a lot of your autonomy. Okay, that is the one thing I could grieve, is like I didn't have the autonomy to just get in the car and go. I had to prepare and plan and like have these little humans that I'm responsible for. So being able to grieve that part of yourself, that's like, okay, I don't have that autonomy anymore, but I have this right now, the season I'm in. And then as you transition and grow, like, yeah, you might rediscover yourself, but we're kind of rediscovering ourselves every day. So you just kind of move with it and find the joy in those moments.
I love that.
Yeah.
Rediscovering ourselves.
It can be really, yeah. Motherhood can be very beautiful, and it is really beautiful, but I think those are the few really important things.
Thank you.
Of course.
Xannie, you should actually, because we did talk about this a lot. If you have time, or when you have time, you should actually watch Cait's episode on this, because we did talk about like these themes and like motherhood and being like present. You might like it. I didn't know you were like getting so serious about this. So thanks for sharing that. That's really cool.
I had a conversation with my therapist a couple of weeks ago where I had a lot of not directly related to this, but a lot of other life things that kind of opened certain floodgates that I guess this was sort of like just behind that. This was sort of like the things that I needed to sort through to get to this place.
Oh, wow.
Because I've known for a long time that this was something that I wanted, but I kept being... I struggle a lot with vanity, and I was afraid of my body changing so quickly. Like, I know that I'm aging. I know that we all look, but like a lot of the changes that I've experienced up to this point in my life have been relatively slow over the course of many years kinds of changes. It's not like all of a sudden in a couple of months, I like am sticking out to here, and that's the stuff that I was afraid of my body changing and not having that sense of control. And I realized about a month ago that a lot of it was tied to this irrational belief I had that if I could look young and look a certain way, then I was actually having some sort of almost magical control over time, right? Like if everyone just looks young, then we're not really aging. We're not really dying. We're never going to go there. We're going to stay in our little bubble forever. And I don't know, I had this realization that it was because I'd never really verbalized that to that degree before. I didn't really realize how much in my core I really thought, if I look 25, even if I'm 40, like somehow I am escaping death. Like the reality is, no matter how you look on the outside, like you are aging. We're all gonna end up a certain place. We all gonna end up dead, right? Eventually, one way or the other. And I just was like part of my resistance to having kids was I didn't want to look older. I didn't want to have all physical changes. And then I had this realization after I had that. I was like, number one, this isn't actually going to make any real difference. I am going to end up looking very different, feeling very different, whether I want to or not. And whether do I want to be at that place and have had children at like is my dream, or do I want to have missed my chance because of some irrational belief that looking a certain way was going to keep people from dying, which is just crazy when you verbalize it out loud. But it's like a lot of us have these subconscious almost magical beliefs about like perfectionism. A lot of the levels of belief people have about perfectionism is like a insane, if you really verbalize it, is like insane, because like how could me being perfect at I don't know my job or whatever, like it doesn't really give me a level of control that I believe that it does. Like it's not like it's going to protect me from harm. Everyone's going to love me. There's always still going to be someone that hates me. Like it doesn't matter how well you do, like you just can't control things. And I think verbalizing that to my therapist it was like verbalizing that to another person. It just became really clear to me how much I was letting these irrational fears completely derail and prevent me from reaching my goals in life. And so I know after that I was like, it's not like I'm still terrified of my body changing. I'm like, all these things are still there, but they don't hold the same power because I think I shed light on that subconscious fallacy. And it's so now, even though I still have these strong feelings, but it doesn't have the same power because I know it doesn't matter how I look. I'm not going to be able to prevent people from dying. No matter how much I suffer, I'm not going to be able to bend reality to my will. It's going to do whatever it wants to do, no matter what I think. So I just have to decide that I'm along for the ride and not let those fears stop me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah. Those are really real fears though, like if you have kids, your body changes. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there are the select few that have just genetics that, are the perfection that we aim for. But we're also not in their skin, so we don't know. They probably still see things that change about their bodies. But yeah, for me, I feel better than I did when I was 18. Like, I take care of myself better than I did. I look a lot different than I did, before even had kids. And my body might not be perfect. There are, stretch marks and, bumps and, skin that's looser than I'd like it to be. But I can also like take care of myself way better. And I feel like you can still maintain the look of youth just by living in your joy and taking care of you. And I think that resonates more than anything. I see so many women that are like these fit beasts that look so good, and they're in their 40s, and they have kids, and you're like, what? So it's a real fear, but there are things that you can do to confront it, and it sounds like you already are. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I know that it's, I think it was just the taking it to the next level of like, that if I could look a certain way, I was going to be able to like prevent death. I think a lot of it fear of other people dying, and like this illusion that if we all collectively don't look like we're getting older, then I don't have to admit the fact that, my parents have like 10 or 15 years left. I can pretend live forever. Right.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So I hear that it goes deeper even than like our vanity. Okay.
Yeah. That
preventing death.
Uncoupling that, and
Perfect.
now I have a regular vanity, and I mean, I don't know if it's really vanity. It's like, I mean, we live in our bodies, right? Like that's where we are 100% of the time. So I do think there's, just to give myself some grace, and anyone else who has these fears, it's like, of course you're going to be like, I mean, if your body's going to be totally different than what you're used to, like, of course there's something unsettling.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to control, I guess.
The fear doesn't have to control you. Yeah. Use lots of lotion. That's what I'll say. Use the good stuff. Don't go cheap on that stuff. Get the good stuff.
It reminds me of like something my old acting coach used to say, which is like, you're still driving down the same road, you just have your headlights on now. And like, so like you just see your own subconscious pattern. Not that it's going to go away instantly or even maybe at all, but at least you're aware of it. Therefore, when it comes up, you can be like, oh, it's just that irrational thing again, and keep it pushing. But I used to love that phrase. But also I wanted to add to my older sister is our first baby in the family. My older sister, she's only a year older than me, and she just had her first kid, and her name is Isla, and she's perfect, literally looks like the Gerber baby. And just seeing my sister go from like, she was thinking about having kids, but she wasn't like really like, I don't think she was like ready to have a kid, but she had her, and she has completely transformed, like in the best way possible. Like seeing her with her child, like she's very scared she was gonna have like postpartum. She was just scared, about like all this mental stuff, and exactly kind of what you're saying, Xannie. I don't know if her physical thing was as deep, but it was more like the mental stuff. But none of it happened for her. She like literally is a totally different person, but like in such a grounded, loving, maternal, like less anxious. Like it's like, when she has her baby, everything in the world is like okay, and like she can like she's like superwoman all of a sudden. Like she can handle anything. Even through her pregnancy, she was literally superwoman. Like I was like, how are you doing all this stuff? Like I couldn't wrap my brain around it. But I think there's something about like being a mother and carrying another life that just kind of like levels you up all the way. So if anything, like you're gonna get more of what you actually want, I think. And like even seeing you, Cait, like you could, I don't know, I can always tell who's a mom and who's not just by like the way that they are, because there's some sort of like inner peace and like strength that they have that is just like so beautiful to me. And yeah, I feel like it is very scary, but I think the good is going to outweigh the bad. Is like what it seems like, and that's what you usually hear. So there's probably many outlying stories, but there's a lot of things to be thankful for, I think, when you have new life. So
Yeah, I think it's all in perspective too. Like the good can outweigh the bad, but if you're focused on the bad,
true.
then that's what you'll be focused on.
That's
So
so true.
yeah. And I think I do want to mention like postpartum is very real, but I think for me, I experienced it like with both kids, but with my daughter, I kind of just hid away and like it just felt like gray clouds. And then with my son, I don't know what it was, but I just let myself weep. I feel like I like cried out all of the hormones that were like messing up my system.
Nice.
And like so there might be that is a very real thing that could happen, but just allowing yourself to grieve whatever it is you're grieving. I think I was grieving not having just one, like my baby girl was my baby girl and I was like I have two now, which is a weird thing to grieve, but I needed to grieve that and I let myself. And then I can't say I had a huge circle supporting me, but having that support system, like I said before, is really important to handle the mental health side of being a mom.
It reminds me of like when you sell a house a little bit, that like where you had good memories. It's like you're not leaving the house that's bad. You're just leaving the house because you're going to the next best thing. And so it's hard to, you know, it's like even change for the better can sometimes be grief, because if you're not leaving bad, it's like think you're changing, right? So I think that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, my daughter's trying to call me.
Okay, we got to end this live, you guys. This has been amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you, Naomi, for all the great questions and insights. And Naomi, we'll probably have you on the next one for sure. But yeah, if you're watching this and you want to join us, I'll put a link in the description below where you can sign up for the next course. You're welcome, Naomi. And we'll see you guys there. And we're really excited to teach you guys dialogue, learn more about you, and just kick it. I mean, you see here we have fun. We just talk about stuff and we let our emotions out, but we also have some jokes too, and it's a good time. And so yeah, we're excited. Anybody who wants to join, click the link in the description below or DM me at Is There More World. Also, do you guys, Cait, since you guys have been a really big part of this, and Xannie, this is also geared sort of towards the BPD Bunch audience. Do you guys want to drop your handle and just give a little blurb about what you do too?
Yeah. Do I have to put it in the chat or do you put it?
I'll put it in the chat, but you just do a little audio thing, so if they're watching it.
Okay, so I am the creator and the host of a show called the BPD Bunch. It is a video podcast for and by people who are or have struggled with borderline personality disorder. When I started the show in 2022, I still qualified for BPD technically. And therapist actually took it off my chart a couple years ago. So even over the course of starting the show, like a lot of our cast members have entered into, remission or full recovery, whatever you want to call it. But basically every week we talk about some of the different struggles that we've had and what we've learned over the course of our journeys. And we try to get people from all over the world, different walks of life to share. So whether you have BPD or you love somebody who does, or you happen to have, some of the similar struggles, because people with BPD are not aliens. They have a lot more of the certain problems that a lot of people have. Definitely you can go check that out. So you can just find us anywhere at the BPD Bunch. Hey. But our primary places are and Instagram.
Okay, I put that in the chat so you guys can check out Xannie's channel there. And go ahead, Cait.
Okay. Hi, I'm Cait. You can find me on Instagram at Cait Starling, Cait Starling. You got that.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, you'll pop it in the chat. So I help women that are struggling with self-abandonment, people pleasing, feel like they've kind of lost themselves along the way. A lot of that has to do with motherhood or relationships. I'm very relational, talk about communication, um, just building healthier relationships instead of kind of continuing, perpetuating the cycle and patterns of staying in unhealthy dynamics. That's very true to my story. I was in very unhealthy relationships for a long time. And part of my growth, a lot of my growth has been just learning um, when I get to do the thing that is good for me and when how to navigate relationships in a healthier way so that I'm not staying in dynamics that are really unhealthy, noticing what I need. So that's what I help women do. I am a life coach, um, relationship coach. So you can find me over on Instagram.
Hey, okay. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's been awesome. And we're looking forward for more of you to join in 1 month. So again, the link is in the chat to sign up for the next free dialogue course, and we will see you then. Have a good Sunday. Bye.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait, can you guys stay on the window? You can leave the room, just stay on the window until it uploads. Oopsie. Okay. And yeah, for those of you who are still on the live, I'm going to again drop the episodes that I have with Cait and Xannie in the chat because it just gives you more of a sense of who they are, what they do, and kind of their philosophy. So here they are. Bye, Naomi. Cait's episode. Cait has episodes, actually. Xannie, we're going to do another episode soon, too, right? Oh, you're on mute. Oh, sweet. Okay, so we should do you want to loop us in, or do you want to schedule it with her and just let me know when's good for you guys? Yeah. It's the same phone number. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do that. And yeah, we're gonna talk about your album, I think, right? So more on that later, but for now, we won't give any details away because we gotta prep for that. All right, bye. I gotta